The Survivor Specialists, Phil and Will, are back, and we are joined today by Russell Muscle TV for our first fantasy game of Survivor 48. If anybody didn't see his flex, it was pretty impressive. He puts Will and I, the string bean boys, over here to shame. We got nothing going on in the bicep region. But Russell Muscle, way to go. Congratulations. Your stash is also looking very Canadian.
I like the stash. I'm in on
Thanks,
the
boys.
stash.
Thanks, boys. I was at the gym today, did some buys and tries. Me and my roommate, we looked at each other last week and we thought, let's just grow some mustaches. And then that's what we're doing here. I'm excited to talk Survivor 48. I've been hibernating over the off season, getting ready for the new season. But I know you guys have been grinding away at not just the Survivor specialist stuff, but all specialists, all reality TV. So I bet you guys are just full steam ahead.
Yeah, I know. And so much so that we got like a warning of like expect what was it? What would he just get that made us like a little bit late? It was like the traffic is higher than expected. I'm like, is that just us? Are we just recording too many podcasts? I did Deal or No Deal Island earlier today with Philip Solomon from the season. We got a nice recap in with him.
That's great.
Awesome.
I like that you're getting a mid-season interview.
It was pretty cool. And
yeah.
Philip talking about like Parvati and David and Dr. Will was pretty cool to hear, because I'm like, holy crap, like this is a guy who was just out there playing a game with these people, and now we're doing a mid-season podcast with him. So if you want to check that out, Blake and I put that out earlier today. But here we are, Survivor 48. Russell's in full February Canada mode with the mustache, and he's ready to go. And we are going to have 20 topics again, 20 over-unders, 20 props. So for anybody who's new to this game, this is the first of many of our fantasy games. So we do this one, and then we also do our prop bet game, which will be next Wednesday with Peridium. And then the following Wednesday, Will and I will do the fantasy game with Blake. We'll each pick our fantasy teams. Last year, you guys might remember, Will had lost 3 straight people to start the season. Then
3
Blake
in a row,
5 straight right after that. And I was sitting there in final 8 with 6 of my people still in the game. But we are going to be doing that one as well. Patrons can play along for that to win a prize. And then we're also going to be doing the Power Rankings game for our patrons. So if you want to become a patron, go check out the rules and everything over there. It's for our top tier patrons that you can play those games. But this game is for anybody. And this game is coming with a prize. And that prize is being provided by the person below me, Russell. So Russell, what can they look for here for the winner of this game?
Wow. Fancy that. You invited me here and I'm providing the prize. So if you don't know who I am, thank you for having me, specialist. I'm Russell Muscle TV. I do all the best Survivor content on the internet, but I also have a little controversial Survivor puzzle store. I know some fans love the puzzle replicas. Some fans hate them. Personally, I think everyone should love them. You should go check out Idle Plays. The store is always closed down during the off season as I prepare new and different puzzles. And the winner of the over-under game is going to be this red tree puzzle right here. So you could become a Survivor legend, solve the puzzle in 5 seconds. I'm sure we might not see this puzzle again on Survivor after another Survivor player from 44 kind of hacked the system. But I have
that puzzle in blue, I think, and it legitimately took me 40 minutes to put that together. I'm not a vertical puzzle man. I learned about myself. I was awful.
It's a project for the off season, maybe in the summertime, but I really want to get a whole bunch of us together and have an Idle Plays Survivor puzzle competition. We'll have you versus maybe Peridium, and the winner moves on to the next round. And
when you say you, is that a singular you or a plural you?
So Will, are we friends, or I don't know if I even want to.
I don't know where we left off.
I think Will's exact words were replicating the puzzles is for lame guys or something like that. And that was during our second chances ballot. And then Russell sent
that was just shots fired at an unnamed 44 cast member, though. I don't think that was any shots fired towards Russell.
I hope not. Yeah. Russell's anyways, bad. So if they were fired at him, he forgot and he's ready to podcast. He's good to go. So it doesn't matter.
Let's do it.
I like that idea though. That would be fun. So yeah, if you win and did you send out a similar puzzle last season too? You ended up being the prize for, I think it was the prop bet game.
Yes, for the prop bet game, it was, I believe, a fire puzzle for that one. So we got a wide variety. Next season, it's looking like we're gonna have 16 different puzzles to choose from, different bundles for different Survivor content creators. We have a bundle for the specialists, a few others as well. But yeah, the store is gonna be opening up on premiere night, going for the entire season. I love it if you go check it out.
There you go. There you go. There's your plug, Russell. Russell, I also think that I noticed you're touching your earphones. I do think your AirPods, the sound is coming through your AirPods.
Oh,
Shit,
no.
I'll fix that.
Yeah, you were coming through crystal clear, and then all of a sudden it sounded like it was coming through right when you touched your ear the one time. But that's okay. So we have 20 topics. Intern is listening. Robert, he is a full-blown adult now who makes a lot more money than me, so I should probably respect him. But intern Robert is back, and he is going to be putting together the link for this game. So that link will be in the description of this video, probably like 20 minutes after we get done podcasting. Once we have the numbers settled and what the props are, I'm going to send them out to intern. The one that I know that we are changing is over under Jeff wears a black shirt. That one's just a real pain to track, not the most fun in the world. And I know by like the end of every season, it's always like, I don't know, he's got to be at 8 at this point. And then go back and rewatch a couple episodes real quick.
It was over pretty easily last season.
He was pretty much doing 1 an episode.
Yeah, it felt like every episode because it's, you're spending 2 to 3 days per episode, and it seems like he was always showing up in black at least once. And sometimes he would wear, it's usually at a challenge. I don't think he wears black at Tribal Council, but usually if there's 2 challenges, one of them is black shirt pretty much.
Yeah. So
that's the hard hitting stuff. You come to
the hard hitting stuff. That's what we're talking about here. But this is a random one. This is one anybody can win. And last season, there's 10 points was enough to win. It was literally 50%. Like nobody went.
That is crazy.
50%.
Just how many people entered?
I'm sorry, 11 was the winning, but it was we had about 87.
Wow. That's like statistically insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
That no one
10 points won it.
10 points won it. Wow.
Will, you got 5.
Brutal.
Will, you got
it's funny because it's like you can't that means we set good lines, because it'd be one thing if like, okay, the winning score is like 15. It became too easy. But that means the lines were really well set. So good job on us.
Yeah. 13 unders, 7 overs.
I mean, that falls within a pretty, that's about
pretty
right.
good. That's pretty good. So we're going to be bringing them back, everything except for the black shirt, which I said, Russell, what do you want to make it? What do you want to do to replace black shirt? And he said, over under the amount of time somebody mentions Heather from season 41.
Huh.
Will, are we down?
I'm gonna have to veto that one. I'm sorry. I think that's gonna be too easily of an over. There's no number we could set it at in which it wouldn't go over, because she's the most talked about Survivor contestant.
We'd have to make it 18.5.
It would, we'd have to make it like 100 or something.
Yeah,
like it'd be so obscenely high that I don't know if we can put that in there.
So what Russell really wanted to do, and I think it's an interesting idea, and we went back and forth on it a little bit, but we were thinking an over-under of the amount of people who mention Rob has a podcast or Jeff's podcast or the specialists or Peridium or something like that. So really over-under the amount of people who name drop Jeff's podcast. But just in case one of the others gets name dropped, we heard a lot of RHAP last season, obviously, because of Asia. And then we had Rome talking about the podcast. I think Rachel had a podcast confessional in there about Rome, or maybe that was Teeny who had a confessional in there about Rome mentioning the podcast. So I think we should I like this idea of like over under Jeff's podcast, RHAP, Peridium, me, maybe RussellMuscleTV, maybe one of the Canadians finally comes and gives you some credit, even though there's only Karen this season. You only have one. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Australian Survivor, Camilla. Right? Camilla's the only Canadian on this season.
Yeah, I like the idea of like any Survivor content creators, anyone in the online space, if they get mentioned, that counts.
So it's gonna be like Rob has a podcast.
It's gonna be
Rob has a podcast or Jeff.
Or on fire, right?
On fire, yeah.
Yeah. And what's the number you're setting this at?
We haven't gotten there yet. We'll have to see. We'll have to see when we get there.
It's probably half, right?
I think you got to go 1.5, but we got to have that discussion when we get to this. Is the 17th prop.
We're replacing the 17th prop. Okay. I'm still trying to figure out the odds of no one getting over 50% with 87 entries.
Oh, that's what you're doing? I was like, yeah, Will, you look like you're intensely typing over there.
I'm trying to figure that. I think it's really, and I'm trying to, because I am like dumbfounded by that because it's completely random. Like if you randomly are picking, you're only picking one of two options. I mean, how many pushes do we have? Any pushes? Or we set the number.
Everything was set at a half.
Everything's at a half. So there's no push resulting, in lower scores. So let me finish this up. Let's start with the first prop.
All right, I'm gonna go to the first prop. So we do this one every time. The over hit last season, the under hit in season 45. I'm sorry, in season 46. The under hit in season 45, the over hit in season 44. So it's been a little bit more of a 50-50 recently after a lot of 7-1s. So the first prop is over under 6.5 votes to win for the winner. So we've had a lot of 7-1s in the new era, but we have had 2 5-3s in 2 of the last 3 seasons. So I'll open it up to Russell first because you've never done this with us. How many you want? What are you going, over or under here?
I'm the odd man out here. I feel like it's gone too many seasons in a row where it hasn't hit.
What hit last season?
7-1. Oh yes, exactly.
No, this has been teetering back and forth. Yeah, this one's really tough.
I think on a game like this, it's always best to place your bet on what you want to have happen. And I don't want it to be a 7-1, so I'm going to go the under on this one for sure.
Okay. I like the reasoning, a little hopeful, a little wishful thinking. Will, we have 3 people, so you can't just take the opposite of both of us every time. This is nice.
Watch me take the opposite of Russell and disagree with him on every single pick.
That's what we're here for.
I am going to start that way, though. I don't know if I'm going to do that the entire time, but from this cast, it feels to me that there are a lot of people in this cast that can't win. That I'm like, there's no way you're getting to the end and winning because I don't know. I don't feel the personalities. Like I feel the personalities. I don't feel the gamesmanship from a lot of these players. I think there's like 4 or 5 gamers on this cast out of 18, which is not many, especially in the new era. And so I think the person who wins is going to get there and sit down with people that are likely going to be GOATs because there appear to be a lot of them. So I'm going over 6.5 votes for the winner.
Yeah, and I mean, even in one of these situations like last season, I don't think Sam was a GOAT. I think Rachel just outplayed him. She just beat him. So even if you get to the end with not a GOAT, you can win and still get a landslide victory of 7-1. I mean, a lot of people thought Gabler was a GOAT. He wins 7-1. What's interesting is we haven't had a 6-2. It's been 7-1 or 5-3. We haven't had a 6-2.
That's true. 6-2 does go under, right? Or wait, what's it set? It's set at 6.5 or 5.5?
6.5.
Yeah. I still got to go over. I think we're getting 7-1 or 8-0 potentially.
8-0.
Do you want to hear the probability of this?
Yeah, let's
which
get the
which I cannot actually believe. Like I think the AI did it incorrectly. It says for a single person, probability of scoring 10 or less is 58.8%. And the probability of scoring over 10, shouldn't it be 50-50? Or does 10 should just be 50-50?
That should be.
I think your AI is lying to you, Will.
Yeah. But it says for all 87 people to score 10 or less, it's 1 in 114 quintillion. That cannot be right. So I need to further converse with my AI and point out that that's insane.
Well, and that's like when you like make these predictions for some of these games, every now and then you get really lucky. Like my boot order last season, I had, I think 3 of the final 4. Like I did pretty good. I had Teeny in 4th. No, I had Rachel in 4th, Teeny in 2nd, Sam in 3rd, and then I had Tiana winning it all. Everybody's like, well, the odds of getting 3 of the final 4 are really low. It's like, yeah, but sometimes you just like can see it and get lucky. sometimes these random number things just happen. I don't know how. I don't know about 1 in whatever quintillion you just said, but that's kind of insane. But still,
For 43, my early bootless predictions, I had Gabler win.
I mean, that's pretty much the same as getting the 1 in quintillion, right? You saw something nobody else saw.
I mean, there's definitely then some bias that people were like more, for whatever reason, had a bias towards picking wrong answers depending on the individual props themselves. And maybe there's just a few of those that like just tanked scores where like 90% of the people were all on the under, but it somehow went over. If there wasn't stuff like that, I mean, and not 1 in 114 quintillion.
That's insane. That's insane. So anyway,
I just don't believe it.
I'm going to go with the over on this one too. I think that we are in the era of landslides more often than not. I mean, still, I think what 5 of the 7 new era seasons have been 7-1. So I'll take the 7-1 and play those odds. And I think like somebody like D, who only won 5-3, and Kenzie, who only won 5-3, they were sitting next to really good players and their games weren't the flashiest, which is what hurt them. So I'm going to go with over because I kind of agree with Will. It's like you're either going to be a GOAT or sometimes now it's like my game's flashier. You can see the moves I make and people are starting to think like that. So yeah, Russell, you're on your own. You're on an island here.
It's where I want to be. I want to beat you
Good.
too. That's
There
all
you go.
strategy.
All right. Well, next one is over under 1.5 votes cast against the person with the fewest votes against them on the season. The under hit last season. In fact, the under hit the last 2 seasons.
What's the number again? 1.5 votes?
1.5.
So you are, I mean, are these getting idled out essentially, right?
Or Medevac.
Or Medevac, true.
Okay.
True.
Or you just make it to Final Tribal Council and get no votes the entire game.
Wow.
Which I think is how Ben did it in 46, right? I don't think Ben got any votes throughout the game.
Well, didn't we have Randon get Medevacs?
He did, but I also think like Ben did get 0 votes, I think.
Okay.
And the number is 1.5?
Number is 1.5.
I mean, I'm going to go with history here. I'll just start off. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to go under because it seems like there's a lot of ways to leave the game with 0 votes. Or even 1 vote, like getting idled out with 1 vote against you is possible too, in addition to the Medevac, in addition to being never getting voted out, just being a member of Final Tribal Council. So, or getting eliminated at fire making.
Yeah, getting eliminated at fire making is another good one. Last season, only 1 person last season. Do you know who the person was? And they got 1 vote.
Sam?
I can't picture it.
Teeny.
That is our fire making.
There you go.
Exit. Yeah.
And so when it's 1.5 votes cast against the person with the fewest votes against on the season, these votes count, right? Like, I forget what we did. I got to make the note of this now so people know. Does this count votes negated by an idol? So like for last season when Rachel played her idol successfully, did those votes count against her or no?
I would say no.
I don't
Because they're
know.
not.
We always have this issue when we do our games.
Mm-hmm.
Do idle votes count? I mean, they technically don't count. So like they shouldn't count. Like Jeff says, does not count. He's telling us the answer to our question here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So idled votes don't count. Okay, that works. All right. Well, I'm gonna go under too. Yeah, I think until this one changes. Yeah. So we're all going under, and I just think until this one changes, why mix it up, right? I mean, if you want to be brave and go over here, go ahead. But I feel like it's a shot in the dark, and even with only 1 out of the 18 people last season hitting this, all you need is 1.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. All right. Number 3. So we didn't change this number. We can have the discussion if we want to. Over under 5.5 votes lost throughout the season. Shot in the dark and sacrificed votes don't count. So shot in the dark, if you play that, that doesn't count as losing your vote. You have to actually lose your vote.
What about a sacrifice? What's a sacrifice?
We put that in there for some reason. I don't know what that means either. We did it last season.
What I'm trying to think. What is sacrifice? Is it?
I believe there's an advantage where if you
you can bank a vote, right? You can bank it.
Bank a vote.
That's
or
what
something.
it was. Banking votes. Yeah. If you're doing something like that.
Anything where you're deciding it's your choice not to vote doesn't feel like you're losing a vote.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yeah, it has to
vote
be,
is when it happens to you. And then also for this one, if you have a beware advantage and it says you cannot vote at next tribal council, but then you do the task and you get your vote back and you go to tribal council and you vote, then you never lost a vote. You have to go to tribal council and lose your vote. And not
I've heard you guys argue about that one a lot.
Yeah. And we're stating that right here at 20 minutes and 47 seconds. Okay. So anybody who is listening to this who has that question, if you lose your vote, but you don't go to a tribal before you get your vote, and you get your vote back and then go to tribal, you don't lose your vote. You have to show up to tribal council and not be able to vote.
Or if you lose your vote and get Medevacs in which you never go to tribal council and you never lost your vote. That's what happened to Brandon, I believe. And people were like, he lost his vote. He never got it back. But it's like he never went to tribal. He never had the piece of paper that said you've lost your vote.
Yeah. What about like a situation like Rachel had last season where she leaves tribal council? She's not losing her vote, right? That's a totally different situation.
Totally different situation.
Okay.
That's different. That's different.
All right. So we're keeping it at, I think we keep it at 5.5.
Is it a different situation?
It went under in 46. It went over in 47.
Okay.
I can go first this time. You guys have been going over, or been going first. I'm going over. I'm going to take the over on this one. I feel like the twists that are implemented into the game all seem to come with a caveat that you've lost your vote. It seems to be every twist that's in the game now. You find an idol, you've lost your vote. And I know that last season, a lot of the people who had this twist thrown at them found the idol fast enough to not lose their vote. And still there were more than 5.5 lost votes on the season.
There was more than 5.5 last season?
There were.
Yeah. Last season hit over.
Oh my gosh. I did not think I don't remember a lot of lost votes last season.
Because we've become so numb to it.
Because I remember in 45, I think maybe it was 46. I want to say it was 45 though, when they have the final 9 immunity challenge and they split into 3 teams of 3 and they do the 2-stage challenge. And the team that loses first all loses their vote, or they have to go on a journey and recover it in some fashion. But when we did that in 47, I'm not sure we did that in 46, but when we did that last season, Caroline goes and they play the Jenga game. Mm-hmm. And it was only ever going to be one person. Like, even though 3 technically lost their votes, 2 of them got their vote back within a couple hours. And it was Caroline. So, like, who else? Did Sam lost a vote at some point? Teeny lost a vote at some point.
It was exactly 6. Teeny lost her vote. Keyshawn had his vote stolen, which we discussed, and I think we counted that. I don't know. I think we might have counted that when it was.
I think you do count that because you're not.
He doesn't have his vote.
Yeah, and it wasn't by his own doing.
Yeah. So Teeny and Keyshawn, Annika lost her vote. Kyle lost his vote, and then it was the what was it? It was who was it? Andy? No, Caroline lost her vote, like you just said, and then Sam. No, there was one other. Anyway, there was 6.
Did we score it incorrectly? Is that going to throw off our 1 in 114 quintillion odds? Because we scored it incorrectly.
So Sam had his vote blocked, which I also think we counted. Because if we were counting your vote being stolen from you, you were counting your vote being blocked.
Yes. That's if someone or the game is preventing you from voting, then it counts.
Yeah. Because you're at tribal council and you're not voting.
Yeah. If you're deciding yourself not to, then it's not.
And then there was even more because Sam lost his vote also at the auction. So there was actually 7 if you count Sam, because Sam lost it twice because he had the least amount of money at the end of the auction. So if they bring the auction back, that'll probably have a lot of fun number talking here. I'm still going to go over. Like the fact that hit last season and we can't even remember why to me, and it's not a bad line, like 6 or 7, season 46, it went under. It's not a bad line. I don't think we have to change the number. I'm just going to go over because we can't even remember why it happens half the time.
Yeah, Survivor loves this stuff. I wish they didn't. I wish we'd walk away from it a little bit more. I'm going to hit the over on this one as well. I did under. This is going to be my first over of the day.
Okay. And that means
I'm going to go under here.
Shocked.
Why are you shocked?
Because everybody else went over. So, of course, you were going to go under.
I was going to go under from the jump here. I think there has been somewhat of a backlash and eye roll at the idea of losing votes. And not that they could have, listened to any of the feedback from 47 and apply it to 48 because 48 was already shot. But that if it happens several times in season 40, that I think you feel that, and Jeff feels that, is probably aware of it. Like, whoa, we lost 7 votes. And Jeff has this thing where it's like, okay, we just did this. We're going to do another season. Let's try to do something different. And so I'm going to use this kind of back and forth Jeff. I don't know, my Jeff theory here that if we had it a lot in 47, it's not going to happen as much in 48. So I'll go under. Okay.
I mean, I feel like that's fair. I mean, there's definitely been changes to the show when there's backlash. I mean, they're definitely listening. And Russell, I'm sure you saw it, the supposedly leaked who's been getting calls and stuff for season 50. If that is true, the names that we're seeing over there, they're listening to podcasts because I honestly thought it was fan fiction. So maybe it is fan fiction and maybe it's made up. But
wait, who are some of the names?
It was confirmed fake. Yeah,
it was confirmed fake.
Oh, what was the name though?
Dude, it was literally our podcast with Mike Bloom minus Natalie Bolton. It was like Sean Rector, Lauren O'Connell, like Rick Devins, Dom Abate, Gabby, Christian. It was like down the line, Bryce. It was just like everybody you'd want to see was on the list, which is why I think people were like, hell yeah.
Huh.
And now because of that list, none of those people have a chance to play because Survivor Productions can be like, well, we have to overcorrect now.
Oh man. So someone just made that completely up, and just posted it?
That's what it seems like.
Was it Russell?
According to Russell.
Oh, man.
I don't know. I was scrolling Reddit and people think it's
screwed the pooch, man.
Yeah, I messed up.
I know.
Okay.
Not happy about it. And Victoria Bamundi retweeted it and was like, I can confirm I did not get called. So everybody's like, oh, Victoria didn't get called. This must be real. Or it's like maybe Victoria just didn't get called. Anyway, moving on. Talking about 48. Next up, we have over under rewards at the sanctuary. So I dropped this one down from 4.5 to 3.5. Because there have been fewer rewards at the sanctuary. And so
I feel like we had a lot last season, no?
There were 4. So, but hear me out on this. This is why I think we had to drop it from 4.5 to 3.5. Season 41 was 1. Season 42 was 1. Season 43 was 3. Season 44 was 4. Season 45 was 5. Season 46 was 3. Season 47 was 4. So there's only been one time it's gone over 4.5. So I feel like
we said it. Yeah, we said it there. I think we set it that high though because it was on an upward trajectory. Mm-hmm. It was used once a season in our first iteration of the new era, and then it kept slowly going up. And maybe it's more of a bell curve, and now we're kind of on our way down from it. So 3.5. That's tricky. Yeah. I think. Who wants to go?
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, you think nothing at the point here.
I don't think anything. I'll unfortunately
go first.
I'll go over. And you know why? Actually, I'm not going to say why. I'm going to say I don't want to say my reasoning because I think it's too good of a reason.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to go under because I think your reason stinks.
There, you don't know my reason.
You know what, Will? I want to become your friend. I'm going over on this one. I agree with Will.
Let's hear that reason.
So I'm fairly certain that I saw that they go to the sanctuary 5 times. No, I'm kidding. I saw somewhere that in addition to season 47, season 48 is also getting an extra episode where it is now filling more airtime. And I think it's just going from like 13 episodes is what we used to have. Now it's 14. And so when you have 13, we would have to do a double boot at some point. And when you do a double boot, it means you don't have any reward. But when you have 14 episodes, you forgo the double boot. You don't split into 2 groups. You don't do that whole song and dance. And you just have one boot like down the line until you get to the finale. And that means more rewards challenges. And if there's more rewards, that means there's going to be more sanctuary.
So I'm looking at Bryson Wendell's. I just want to throw this out there. I'm looking at Bryson Wendell's events. They have the finale as May 21st, which would put it at 13 episodes, not 14.
They had it wrong last year, though.
Ooh.
At the very start in September last year,
I thought I just saw it, but it could also be. It's not necessarily the number of days, though. Like the number of weeks, it's the number of hours. So there might be a random 2-hour episode, like in the middle. Like, I don't know, March 8th is a 2-hour episode for no reason other than that. Mm-hmm. That's how many episodes we were ordered to make by CBS.
Maybe. I mean, that's true. We could very well have more 2-hour episodes. Okay. So I'm still going to go under. I feel like the sanctuary on its way out because Jeff realizes people don't like it. And where good things happen is the worst tagline the show's ever had.
But he can't have, there's no information he could have got from fans or feedback between 47 and 48. So if there would be a change to really get rid of the sanctuary, it would happen in season 49.
Okay. Yeah, that's also true. I mean, that is true.
I'm gonna look this up on Reddit because I think that's where I saw it. I don't really go to Reddit that much. Episodes season 40.
I just feel like Bryson Wendell waited a little bit, and for them to put this out, and I'm pretty sure the tickets are on sale. I'm pretty confident they probably confirmed with somebody that this is going, because I know last season they were wrong. I don't think they'd make the same error again. I mean, maybe I'm wrong on this, but that's just my. Oh, the New York tickets aren't on sale. I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, so Zach says this is true. There was a random reason as to why it was longer last season, but I don't remember. I do know. CBS was concerned that there was going to be a debate on CBS on a Wednesday night, which would have made it so that Survivor needed to go an extra week. So they were lumping in with the assumption, but then there was only one debate. And so that's why they ended up having an extra week, because you have to plan out when you're going to, how many episodes you're going to have in a season and like when they're going to go until. And then when there ended up being no debate, they'd already said, well, we're going for 14 weeks.
But that's confusing because if they were planning on doing 13 episodes for season 47, why did they not have a double boot episode?
Because they didn't need to, because then they had 14 episodes.
But you're saying, okay, so you're saying they needed to, in case, have an extra one.
They had 14 weeks because they thought that they might have a debate in there. And if the debate was in there, then they would have 13 episodes, which probably would have been a double boot. But then because
they can't, but they didn't double boot is what I'm saying. Out there, you can't produce a double boot in post. I mean, you can sort of, but they didn't split into 2 groups and do what we usually see.
Well, they split into 2 groups, but they didn't do a double boot. And I think that was a decision. I think had they had one less episode, they just would have done like a Sunday Will Wall, where it's like essentially 2 full cycles that happen in one episode.
I guess now with 90 minutes, that gives them some leeway. That just feels like a weird coincidence, though. It just feels a weird coincidence that the first season in forever that they got a higher episode.
Oh, well, here you go.
Don't do your double elimination.
As we're all arguing, and we're the specialists in Russell Muscle TV, Zach says they didn't need to because they split the finale. That's right. That's why they split the finale. It was 2 2-hour weeks instead of 1 3-hour. So they probably would have just made the.
I know the finale was different, but the amount of Survivor we got was more than usual last season.
It was. But that's what I'm saying, because it was 2 2-hour episodes at the end where they would have just done 1 3-hour.
Right. But so for that to coincide with them not eliminating 2 people in one cycle, is that just a coincidence? It doesn't feel like it.
I don't know.
Anyway.
I don't know. Anyway. Did we all answer that one? We did. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Next prop. Over under 6.5 hidden immunity idols found.
Ooh.
We might need to lower. Do we need to lower this number?
I think it's well, give us our history here.
It went under in season 46 and it went under last season. If it went under in 46 when everybody was doing this, we probably need to lower it.
Well, here's the thinking. There's one idol per
How many in
beach.
46 then?
Let me see.
It's exactly 6.
Because I felt like
in 46 you had
idol.
Hunter, Tiffany, Gem, Q, Venus. So it was actually only 5. Unless I missed one, but then there would be 6. But I have right now 5.
Didn't Rand? Oh, Randon never found his thing, or did he find it?
But he lost his vote
Because he had the beware advantage. I don't know if he ever recovered. Because you're going to get 1 per beach, so that's 3, and you're going to get 1 at the merge. So like, there's a minimum of 4. So we can't lower it too much. So are you thinking you just lower it to 5.5?
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, just to get it 1 number lower.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
I'm gonna make Russell go first.
Yeah, with the number, like it's guaranteed there's going to be 4 idols, and just looking at not everyone's face here on Survivor 48, but a few people in particular, I think there's going to be a little bit of chaos going on later in the game. I'm going the over at 5.5.
Whose face are you looking at that makes you think it's going to go over? Who's the
He's
chaos
looking.
face?
He's looking for idolize. Is what he's looking for.
Yeah, who's got
Yeah.
idolize?
On the, I don't know the tribe names. On the orange tribe, I'm going to say David. On the purple tribe, Joe looks like Tony. And on the green tribe, Justin, the pizza delivery man.
Pizza manager. He doesn't deliver. He's a pizza manager.
He does pizza stuff. I don't know.
Okay, I like that. I like that reasoning. I like that you're just looking them in the eye. I'm gonna go under because I feel like I feel like the last couple seasons have been pretty chaotic with idol stuff, and I mean especially season 46. And if somehow season 46 ended with 5, how is this gonna go over? So I'm gonna go under. I'm gonna take the under here, and I'm gonna make Will break the tie.
I will break the tie. This is pretty easy. I think when you set the number lower, you almost have to then take the over. So
No, it's because Will agrees with me.
I'm joining. I'm joining Russell Muscle TV over here.
That hurts.
Because all you need is you're gonna have 4, and then all you need is like 2. You need basically 2 to get played correctly or incorrectly, and then 2 rehidden. That doesn't seem like that tall of a task, although it hasn't really happened, huh?
It hasn't happened. I know it's not a tall task, but it just isn't happening. So next prop is over under. I dropped this one as well. 1.5 people to play their shot in the dark. We had it at 2.5. I'm lowering it to 1.5 because here's the numbers since season 41. 1, 4, 1, 2, 2, 0, 1. So it hasn't gone over. It's only gone over 2.5 one time. So I felt like we had to drop this down to 1.5. And by dropping it down to 1.5, now it's hit the under 4 times and the over 3 times. That makes it a little bit better. So I'm going to do this. Have we gotten confirmation Shot in the Dark is coming back after pretty much everybody said we don't really care about our shots in the dark last season?
I mean, a couple things with that. Again, there's going to be no response to what happened in season 47. However, we have seen the shot in the dark used in creative ways recently, with Matt in 44 using it to like not pick a side. And then we also saw Rachel use it in a way when she has an idol to check. And that hasn't gotten out into the Survivor ether, the season 47 cast. I think I'm going to go over. Let's get some shots in the dark. I think after a season where everyone gave it up and it didn't matter, we're going to get a couple played. Jeff is going to want some people to play it.
What do you think, Russell? You were about to say something about the players, because Jeff can make the decision of like, maybe this has run its course halfway through because the players just shrugged their shoulders at it.
Yeah, I think Jeff loves it too much. I think it's going to still be in it, maybe for like this last season, honestly. And then we'll change it up for 49 and 50. But I think the players don't care. Like everyone's seen it happen to Caleb and then be voted off right away. I like the idea of using the creative ways, giving it to someone, hey, I promise I won't vote for you or whatever. But I think Will is like definitely 100% wrong on this one. I'm going to go under.
The shot in the dark is not going anywhere. Even if it's never played, and even if it's never played successfully, it does change the way people go about votes, and that like they have to be extra careful about not telling the target. Like even if you're sure the target doesn't have an idol, the target definitely has a shot in the dark. And so Jeff likes that gameplay. It forces you to lie like very well and convince people that they're totally safe. And so I don't see any world in which it doesn't stick around. Like as long as Jeff's a part of the show, I think shot in the dark is here to stay.
I mean, I don't want to pat myself on the back, but what a great line. 1.5 here. This is a great line. It really is a toss-up. I'm going to go with the over too, though. I don't like to agree with Will as much as I currently am, although this is the third time we've agreed through 6, so not that bad. But I kind of agree that all it takes is 2 people early in the game who know they're going home. And I do think people have gotten better about not letting people know that they're going home. But getting better doesn't mean you've gotten perfect. So I'm going to go with the over. And I think, after what happened last season, Jeff's probably going to be like, try to put a little twist on shot in the dark that maybe gets more people to play it. I don't know.
Yeah. Jeff can somehow maybe feel that the shot in the dark lost their value and importance through season 47, that everyone was so willing to give it up that he might want to bring back its significance in some way.
Yeah.
Maybe he changes the odds. Maybe it's 1 in 5.
Yeah. Could you imagine?
Maybe it's 1 in 114 quintillion.
And then that's more likely to hit. My goodness.
Exactly.
Let me see here. So I'm just looking at some immunity stuff here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Next up, we have over under 4.5 votes negated by idols. Now, maybe this number needs to change. So you all let me know. We had 0 and 41, 0 and 42, 3 and 43, 12 and 44, 7 and 45, 0 and 46, 3 and 47.
I mean, that sounds
if
pretty
an idol hits properly, then it's over.
Yeah. That's pretty much what happened. And we've actually had last season, we had Rachel successfully play her idol and only negate 3 votes.
Yeah. So, wait, what's the number at?
5.5.
I think that's right. What would you move it to? Because if you go through the seasons, I mean, I didn't count, but it felt that was like that was 4 on one side, 3 on the other side, right?
Yeah, it was 0, 0, 3, 12, 7, 0, 3. So even if you go 2.5,
it's 4 on one side.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good line.
Okay.
Okay. Remind me, I said over on idols played, right?
You did say over on idols played, yeah.
Okay. Well, if I'm taking the over on idols played, I should probably take the over on idols negating votes. However, it could be a season 46 situation where there are a lot of idols played and they all fail. Or wait, is it idols found or idols played?
Found, I believe.
No, it's idols. Yeah, it's idols found. Hidden immunity idols found. So it's 5.5. I'm sorry. No, we already did idols. Hidden immunity idols found. Is that the question you're asking?
Yeah. Okay. That's what I was asking. It's not idols played. So idols found. If I'm going over, I'm going to go over. Let's go. This is a fun season. We're full of shot in the darks. We're full of idols here. Over on the both of them.
Will's got.
I hate to be the boring guy here.
Yeah,
but I'm going to go. Yeah, I'm going to go over on this one as well. I love me a crazy idol play. Go check out idol plays. Link in the description.
There you go. You guys, Will's got Super Bowl brain. He's just over because he wants an entertaining game. So if he thinks if he bets the over, it's going to hit. I'm going under on this. It's gone under, even when people are playing him successfully. Really, if it wasn't for the chaos of season 44, season 45 barely went over the number. So, and in season 45, the only reason it went over the number was because D was like, hey, Julie, play your idol. Like D did it for a strategic purpose that we haven't seen since or before. So I'm going under. I don't think it hits.
Well, then let's maybe, if it's so obvious, Phil, let's lower the line and I'll go over.
No, I want to keep it right where it is. I'll take my free money under here. All right, so that was over under 4.5 votes negated by idol. Next up, over under 5.5 different players to win individual immunity. I don't think we can move this number. It was 5 last season, 5 and 46, 5 and 45, 6 and 44, 5 and 43, 6 and 42, 5 and 41. So you can't lower it to 4.5 because then it's over automatically. Even though it's only hit 6 twice, I do feel like you have to keep this right at 5.5. And I mean, it's been 5 or 6 every season of the new era.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. Pretty good.
I'm going to go under.
Will's just first. Go ahead, Will.
I'm just taking my shot. I'm going under.
Okay.
Ooh.
I feel good about this one. I do think it feels like the new era. There's like 1 or 2 people that are good at challenges by the time we get to the merge or the end game. And it's like, okay, is either Rachel going to win or Genevieve going to win? Or like, is maybe Sue going to pull out a couple? Like, it's almost, if you win one, you're going to win, you're likely to win another. So, and that reduces the total spread on the amount of immunity winners we have.
I'm going to go over. And my reason for this is right here. Kyle won 4 last season. Rachel won 4 last season. And 5 people still won immunity. 5 people still won. And we had 2 people win 4 times.
It's that extra episode.
I'm telling you, maybe it is. Whatever it is, I think we get 1 extra winner here because we're not going to have 2 people win 4 immunities next season. So I'm going to take the over.
I'm going to agree with Will again. I'm sorry. This is a bad content for the podcast.
Wow,
Will.
This has been like 3 in a row where it's fail on is the odd man out.
Yeah.
Russell, why are you agreeing with Will so much?
Because I thought, you know what, Phil, it looks like maybe it's the camera. You got a sunburn. I don't know if you can think straight right now. I think Will's knows what he's doing.
I'm the newbie here.
Russell likes my reasoning.
I also want to say, like, if you're worried about my sunburn, for all you Canadians who are in ice storms and stuff, it was 95 degrees here yesterday. That's why I have a sunburn. I went for a run and I didn't realize we had broken a record high here in Florida. So yeah, you're right. I do have a sunburn. It's brutal. Nothing like a February 5th sunburn to get you started on your year. All right, let's jump into our next one. This one is over under 0.5 quits or Medevacs. Got any quitters on this season? Soda was a lot.
Let me look at their eyes.
Yeah, we'll let Russell go first since he's looking at the eyes, and I want to hear his reasoning before I go. So go ahead, Russell.
Oh, okay.
Who's quitting?
Who is quitting? I'm going over. I want to hear you guys go first, and then I'll say who I think is going to quit, who has quitter eyes.
Okay. Phil, can you give me some historical data on this over the new era?
I don't have historical data off the top of my head here.
I know we can think it through. Season 41.
So 41, there was nobody.
42 was Jackson.
43 was no one, right? Because then 44 was Bruce.
Yeah.
Was anybody in 43?
I don't think so.
No, nobody in 43. 44 was Bruce.
45, we had
Hannah quit.
Yeah. 45,
and then,
a lot, yeah. And
then 46, we didn't have. Oh, we had Brandon get Medevacs.
Brandon.
So it's more seasons have had one than not in the new era.
Yeah. I would like to think that after the quitting vibes in 45, that they have now attempted to maybe like combat that in casting early on and don't let that energy get to the island, maybe. And so then if quitting's less likely, you're really thinking about a medevac, which can happen, but let's go under. We're going to have a clean season.
I'm going under with Will. So, Russell, I want to hear your reason. Who's quitting?
Yeah. Remember the promo we got at the end of Survivor 47? Stop the challenge, just like Bruce from 44. Something crazy is going to happen in that marooning first challenge, and it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad for our friend Kevin. It's going to be bad for him.
You got Kevin getting medevac right off the bat. All right.
I threw that name out there. I don't know.
Or is he quitting? Is Kevin quitting?
No, I think someone's going to get hurt in that first challenge, unfortunately.
Okay. Maybe it'll be like a Stephanie LaGrossa situation where they just shake it off. They're fine, chilling.
I think, especially if you include that in the promo, it's like it more likely than not doesn't lead to a medevac, because if it does, I think you're worried that it's going to get out.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Like if there's like the big stop the challenge, people are going to be like, oh, there's likely a medevac, and then people read into it. And not that I've read into it. Though. Did they put that in the promo for 44? Well,
at the end of 43, they did that.
I'm proven completely incorrect then. I stand corrected, and there could potentially be a medevac, and that could be a very good hint that you picked up on there, RussellMuscleTV.
That's why I'm
going under anyway.
No, I want to clean. We're going clean season. It's a clean season full of shot in the darks and idols.
Exactly. Full of shot. And we need that, Will, because
people aren't losing their votes.
That's huge. We're about to get into Micronesia when this season starts for our Every Season Matters. We don't need to be watching Micronesia and another season full of medevacs and quits and fun stuff like that.
I don't even mind medevacs and quits all that much when they also are able to vote somebody out.
Yeah.
In the episode. Like, sometimes it's compelling TV. Like sometimes it's interesting. I mean, Korong was fascinating for that reason. But you also have a pretty lame Neil medevac that ruins the merge boot. So
yeah. Next one is over under 3.5 journeys. It went just over last season. It went just under in 46. I'm not touching the number. I'm going to go first, and I'm going to say under. I think journeys are on the way out. So I'm going to go under.
It depends what we're counting as a journey. I remember last season we had some debate about whether we're counting when TK and Asia did the keys and the boxes opening premiere journey, and for some reason we didn't want to call it a journey. I always thought it was because they left their island after a challenge. Like that's kind of what a journey is. Sometimes Jeff says journey, sometimes he doesn't. Mm-hmm. It's very inconsistent. So I think we should define what a journey is. And I think it's if you go out to do something that's not a challenge or not a reward in it, then it's a journey. Right?
What do you got, Russell?
That was in replace of Sweat versus Savvy.
Right.
So whatever that means.
But it wasn't Sweat versus Savvy. So you wouldn't count it as Sweat. If we said over under for Sweat versus Savvies, we would have said under last season.
Sure.
So it's not like we're just going to. I know that's what it was replacing in the sense of like a segment of the premiere, but that doesn't mean that it's not a journey.
I agree. I think that's the easiest way to define it, Will, because Jeff's not always going to say journey. He's not always going to say the same.
And sometimes someone comes in a boat and it's in a scroll and we don't get the full text of it. And it's like, well, do we need to hear the word journey? I don't think so.
Anytime you leave camp to go do something that isn't like an immunity challenge.
A challenge, a tribal council, or a reward.
Well, but these are challenges because Rachel went on a journey and competes in a challenge.
Right, but that's not an immunity challenge or a reward challenge. It's a journey challenge.
Yeah.
It's like a bonus thing. They're pretty clear when we know it when we see it.
And the Sweat versus Savvy replacement can count if it's just like one person from each tribe goes. That's a journey.
Yeah.
All right. I'm still taking the under.
How many what's the line?
The line 3.5? Is at 3.5. Yep.
Over, baby. Come on. With how cool the journey was in 47 with Rachel, that was about the coolest thing Survivor's done in a really long time with that ticking clock mechanic. Mm-hmm. I think Jeff was thrilled by that, like on location. I'm sure I don't know if he went to watch it. Maybe he did. I'm sure he saw a bunch of tests of it at least and was like, wow, that's awesome. And I think creatively, he's probably like, let's think of more cool journeys. Let's top what we did last season. So I think we're going to keep seeing them. And then early on, I mean, we always get, if there's a tribe swap that often comes from a journey in the new era. So there's going to be 4 journeys.
I like the reasoning of like, if it goes over one season, probably going to be a little bit under the next, going back and forth that way. 47 was over, 46 was under. I'm going to go the under again.
Okay, good. You're with me. You're on the right. You're on the right train of thought there, Russell.
I'm on the sunburn side of things.
You're on the sunburn side of things. I like that. Our next one is over under 5.5 endurance challenges. So
that was
I
a
think
great point. Well, great point, Russell.
Yeah, I think we need to drop this one down to 4.5 because it's gone under 3 straight seasons, but not by much. Like it's kind of hitting this 5-4 mark. But you can only do these really in the individual portion of the game. And it seems like Survivors, instead of doing just a straight up endurance challenge like a lot, it seems like they're doing it at the end of like a stage challenge or something. So I'm going to say we should lower this to 4.5 from 5.5 and make that the number for this season because it's just been going under every time.
What's been the number?
5 or 4.
And we have it set at 5.5.
Yeah.
So yeah, we should probably put it to 4.5 if it's never going over. Were you counting those challenges though, where it would be like first phase? Yeah, because I still think even if it's part of a challenge, if like a segment of it is endurance, then sure,
it counts.
Yeah, we're definitely counting if it's just a segment of the challenge. It counts. I'm more saying that like Survivor seems to have gone away from just straight endurance challenges to just it's like a part of it. So like we had Kyle win one of those last season. We had a Gabe win one of those last season, but they're not happening as often in the post-merge phase. So I'm going to put this at 4.5. And then I'll do what Will said, and I'll take the over on it. Because if you lower it, you should take the over. So I'll take the over.
That was my thinking as well.
I'm doing the same thing, just for the reason of I like the endurance challenges. I've always been a fan of them.
Will, are you making it a clean sweep?
I think this is our first sweep. I'm going over, especially because I'm hoping for the first time in the new era, we go to 2 tribes at some point. I really hope we do a 3-2. I can't imagine why they haven't done it. And I think at some point, Jeff or someone in the creative team is like, wait a second, we haven't had just 2 tribes in 7 whole seasons. Mm-hmm. That is crazy. Mm-hmm. And when we go to 2, you could do team endurance challenges. There aren't that many, but there's enough. And I know there's the holding the sandbag over your head, I think from David versus Goliath. When it rains, it pours. But the team version, I think that's like a really popular modern, like new age Survivor challenge that they did a couple times before we went to 3 tribes. And you could even do that as 3 tribes. I don't know why you couldn't. So maybe we get that challenge back, and that would basically put it over if you get 1 pre-merge. So I'm hoping for that.
Okay. Yeah. I think we're all in agreement on that one. Next one, over under half of a tribe swap. Are we going to get a tribe swap or no?
Yeah.
Give me the data.
Russell says, yeah. Russell, why are you saying, yeah? Just, is this hopeful, wishful thinking?
This is wishful thinking. Give me some spice in the new era. Without going to the data, I feel like, what have we done it? Twice?
Yeah. I think it's only been
2 of 7.
We didn't do it in 46. We didn't do it in 47.
I think we're due.
Yeah.
We did it in 45, right? Because that's when we had boys' night or whatever.
We did 44 and 45, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if we're going from 3 to 2, that would count as a tribe swap. And that's what I'm really hoping for.
Let's get rid of earn the merge completely. Have a tribe swap instead of doing that damn whatever they're doing.
It makes me laugh that we don't do the earn the merge thing. Like when they split into tribes, like that doesn't count as a tribe swap because technically they merged and then split, but it's like, it's a tribe swap.
It's not a tribe swap though, because they're never like,
I know.
They're never like spending the night as that tribe and competing as a tribe for immunity. Like then everyone goes to tribal council, like, and they're just the ones immune.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to go under. We're not going to get one. Jeff hates us.
No. Keep hope alive.
What do you got, Will?
I'm going over. Like I said, we're going from 3 to 2 for the first time in the new era, which is insane.
You are high on hope.
That's been like been my like take going into this. I don't know why. I'm really stuck on this 3 to 2. I don't know if it was on another podcast that we talked about, Phil. Maybe it was the cast assessment or maybe it's a patron one, but like bring us 3 to 2.
I hope you're right, Will. I hope you're right, but I'm not.
Or even a 3 to 3, Heroes, Healers, Hustlers tribe swap. We can do that also.
Yeah,
3 to 4.
Sure.
No? Okay.
Just give us anything.
Sorry.
No, we're okay with that at this point. All right. Next one. This is going to be over under 4.5 players with 60 confessionals or more. So This is a big one because now we're at the 90-minute episode. So that's what we're pulling from, right? So season 45 had 6 people. Season 46 only had 3. Season 47 had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've had to go over this 4.5 number twice. We've had to go under once. What do you think? Is 4.5 the right number, or should it be 5.5?
I think the number's good.
The number is good. The number is definitely good. Depends if we're getting that extra episode or not.
I'm going over. I feel like this season has, I'm going to say this off the bat. I feel like this season has superstars, and I think this season's going to have some very heavily under-edited players. I think last season was such a breath of fresh air, and I think that we're going to have some people who are really under-edited, so I think this is going to go over because I think we're going to have 4 or 5 big-time storytellers on this season.
See, I agree with your reasoning, but I think that would lead me to pick the under. I think when you have superstars, then the confessionals are more concentrated to fewer people. Whereas if you have a great, well-rounded cast, then yeah, they're spread out. I guess maybe that's harder for people to get to 60, but you get people you get more chance of people hitting 60 than if you just hammer like 2 or 3 people in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, which is what season 46 did. It was 2 or 3 people in like 70 or 80. And then last season was a little bit more even. But
who were those people? That was Q, Kenzie,
and Charlie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm going to go under for the same reason that you said. Like, I think we're getting, I used the same reason. I think we're going to have a few standouts here that really dominate, and that will lead to a season 46 situation.
What do you got, Russell?
Will, I'm going to go with you again on this one. I'm going the under.
All right. I'm not on an island on my own for like any of these.
You're really not.
Yeah, I'm usually in the 2 versus 1. Like it feels like every time. Do I have any, Phil? Can you look through? Am I?
You have 2.
Okay, good.
2. That's it.
Okay.
It's because Russell's just trying to get on your good side. That's all.
I know he's trying to win me over after his terrible picks for second chance.
Can we have one thing about Heather? Just a full podcast on Heather. The full retrospective. It'd be great.
If Heather gets cast on season 50, you can come on with Will and talk. Will's not allowed to speak. You talk to Will for 50 straight minutes about why Heather is great.
I agree to that. I fully agree.
Good. All right. Next one is over under 3.5 members of a single tribe to miss the merge. So in 41, 4 people missed it from Ua. In 42, 3 missed it from Vati. 43, it was 2 each. In 44, 3 missed it from Tika. In 45, 4 missed from Lulu. 46 was 3. 47 was 3. So actually, I have this number set at 3.5. It's only gone over 3.5 twice, and both times it hit 4. So should this be at? I don't know though if we can lower it to 2.5 because there's only one time that it's been 2.5. So
if you lower it to 2.5, then the only way it hits under is if it's a perfect 2-2-2 even. So I think you have to leave the number there. I'm actually though. I guess I'll start. I'm going to go over. I think we are going to get a hot mess tribe. And I don't know which one it's going to be, but I remember during our cast assessment, one tribe looked like they were not going to lose. I believe I want to say, I was going to say green.
No,
maybe you're right.
It was with Eva, Joe, Bianca, Shaheen, Star, and Thomas. That tribe's loaded.
That tribe feels like they will not lose. Although, so often it comes down to puzzles, and that could be, that is the great equalizer. But that tribe looks so strong that then if you look at the other 2 tribes, once they lose a tribe member, and then remember they also lose their flint, and then they go into this downward spiral, I think we're going to get 4 from 1. So
okay. I'm going to go under. I'm going to play the odds, and I'm going to say 3 is what the number is these days. It just feels like 3, and we never really get to that.
It is
going.
That is the safer pick. That's the safer, smart thing to do.
That is the safer pick, but I don't like the safer pick. And the reason is when I'm watching a season, Phil, hear me out here for a second, my friend.
We could have finally put Will on an island.
When I'm watching this, I know we could have, but no, when I'm watching a season of Survivor, I enjoy the pre-merges when there is a disaster tribe.
Mm-hmm.
It's good content. I want to have a good season of Survivor. So let's go on the over.
I find that it makes a season almost worse because then you're spending like this, the last third of the episode with the
Will, I just went with you. Shut
over
up.
and over.
So, I mean, here's the thing. 41 had 4 and 45 had 4. And I love 45 and I hate 41. So it's 50-50 split.
Yeah, but even like the Banu stuff in 46, like people were out on Survivor.
Oh, yeah,
people are like, this is getting too much. Like this tribe cannot lose again, please. And they got it. They pulled out a win. So, and
right.
that people were happy. The season was better for them. It's true.
All right. This next one, I have to make sure I have the numbers right here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Over under age of the winner, 33 and a half. There are 9 people 34 or older. There are 9 people 33 or younger. I guess this is a good way to kind of hint at who you think your winner pick is, Russell. So I'm going to let you go first. Over under on the age. And it's the age that is listed when they get on the show. It's not their age when they actually win or whatever when we watch.
Well, not when it airs.
Yeah, it's
and there's no live reunion where it's like, oh, technically
the cutoff date in the bio.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I haven't like locked in fully my winner pick yet, but I have a couple people in mind, and I do think, I believe it was who I saw on Twitter, the Survivor Super Fun Time podcast or something like that. Someone put out a post about like how this is one of the oldest casts in Survivor history, and most of the time the old casts are from all-star seasons. And I know the line is down in the middle, so that doesn't really matter, but I think the older people on the cast are going to want to keep the older people together. So playing the odds there, I'm going to go with the over. Could go. The older ones are going to win.
And you're not going to give us a name, huh?
I'm not going to give you a name. I'm going to keep it close to the chest.
I'm in a tough spot here, Will, because when we were doing this, I was saying that Charity, Justin, Thomas, those were kind of my big names. Charity is 33. Thomas is 34. So they're right on opposite ends of this. Justin is 29, but then I also really like Joe, and Joe's 45.
It's a good line.
And I like
Phil.
Mitch, and I like Shaheen. So I'm going to go over. I'm going to take the over.
I am taking the over because Shaheen is my winner pick. And there you go.
Yeah,
he's 38. So done.
Okay.
Joe's my winner pick. He followed me back on Instagram super early, so I think that's really sick.
That's all it takes for you.
Also, It does feel like the men are bringing the age more so than the women.
Mm-hmm.
Is that true? Because even like someone like Kevin, he's 34.
Yeah, which is surprising.
So he would go over. And then like it feels like the women are younger because Mary is 31. We have Say or Sai. Is it Sai or Say?
Say.
Say is 30. And then like Eva is like 24.
Star is 27.
27. So it's
Miller,
like
31.
So it's like I think because I'm leaning towards a male winner, that's what the cast is giving me vibe wise, that it's gonna go over.
Actually, it is Chrissy, and I'm just making sure I don't miss one. Chrissy and Stephanie are the only 2 women that would hit this over.
There you go.
There you go. All right. Next one. I'm lowering this number to 4.5. Over under 4.5 reward challenges. This doesn't include combo immunity reward challenges. The auction does count. So it hit the under both of the last seasons. And the problem and why we got to make this 4.5 is because it's been either 4 or 5 every season except for season 42. Season 42 was, it's been 4 or 5 every season. So having it at 5.5 doesn't.
That's crazy. That feels so low to me. And these are post-merge or pre-merge, right?
Yeah, this is either as a team or individually.
And you're setting it at 4.5.
Yep.
Is anybody going to go? Are you so used to me starting first?
I can go. I mean, this is the most random one. I'm going to go under. What's my reason? I don't know. I have the under on the Sanctuary, so I'm going to have the under on this. I don't think there's many rewards, even though they have longer episodes. I don't think that's what it's going to be about, so I'm going to take the under.
Well, I did the over on the Sanctuary. Let's do over on this too.
Okay, there you go. Will?
I took over on Sanctuary also, but they often go to the Sanctuary as like part of a. It's not just a reward. Sometimes it's immunity too, right? Or no? Wait, how?
Well, sometimes it's when they do an immunity reward challenge every now and then. Yeah, it's
Right.
not often, but it has happened.
I think we're going over. Let's do it. Especially if we're getting rid of that split vote thing, where we split into groups and do 2 boots, which I do still think has to do something with the programming. It has to. And that I guess maybe we're not getting that programming, but maybe Jeff realized that he liked that 47 worked, and you didn't need to do that rushed 2 boots thing. And if we don't do that, we probably get one more reward challenge.
Okay.
I like it.
All right. That makes sense. All right. Here we're finally up to the one we've all been waiting for. Over, under, how many players mentioned Jeff's podcast / RHAP / the specialist / another Survivor podcast? What do we want to put this at?
I think it's 0.5, right?
I think it's 1.5.
I think it's 1.52, Will.
Because
1.5
last season
1.52?
Yeah, 1.52. When Rome mentioned it last season, that got other people to like mention it. And then Asia was mentioning RHAP, obviously.
Wait, okay. Is it the number of times it's mentioned or the number of outlets?
Of individual players who say it, but it was still more than
Okay.
one.
So if someone says RHAP and then someone else says RHAP, that counts as 2, not as 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
2.
I thought it was the entities that we were
No. Because that would be like, yeah, you're either getting On Fire and RHAP, or you're just getting one of those 2. Like the specialists and stuff is fun to throw in, but
if the specialists get a shot, there's just no way they wouldn't include that in the.
No, they wouldn't include it.
Sure. Let's go 1.5.
All right, 1.5. Russell, you seem the most excited. You going over or under?
You know what? I love this, what everyone on the internet is building. You guys here, myself, Tegwith. I'm wearing Tegwith's old merch store right here. I love all the Survivor content online. And I just want to keep growing and building, so I'm going the over. Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm going the under. There's no way.
I'm going under. I think
now that nobody from RHAP is on the season, no way.
Exactly. I think last year, for whatever reason, it was like a very podcast heavy season with John Lovett, Asia, and even Sam being a reporter. And there was just kind of this like reporter broadcasting, podcasting energy. And then Rome came in with the On Fire shout out. I think if anything, we get the On Fire shout out. I don't know if we're going to be name dropping RHAP regularly every Survivor season. So I'm going to go under it. I do think this line would be better set at 0.5. I think would be more interesting, but we agreed on 1.5. So I'm going to take the easy under here.
All right. Next one. We only have 3 left. So the next one is I'm lowering this from 9.5 to 7.5 because last season we saw almost none of these. Over under 7.5 players to get a backstory montage.
Hold up. We should go back a sec. What are we counting that counts for that? Because like every player has their own podcast. So like,
yeah, no, it has to be like RHA. It has to be one of like it can't just be like, oh, I was listening to Sandra's podcast. No, it has to be like, I think you have to name the podcast. Or if you say Jeff's podcast, that's fair because people know Jeff's podcast as Jeff's podcast.
Okay. But does it need to be a podcast or can it be any, like, what if someone's like, oh, I love going to the Bryson Wendell events. Like, I like being a part of the community. Like, does that count?
I don't think so.
So it has to
I think it has to be a video creation, audio creation. Yeah. Like Peridium would count. Peridium doesn't make podcasts.
Peridium would count. I'm just saying we have to be kind of objective here, and I'm not sure it's clear what counts and what doesn't.
I think it's not like a live event. It's literally like something that's recorded.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
7.5 backstory montages. We didn't even come close to this last season, but we hit the over in 46. So that's why I don't want to lower it too much, because maybe they just took a season off, but that was a big hit to the cycle last season. So Russell, you already pointing down.
I'm going the under.
Are we lowering the
I'm
number?
lowering it from 9.5 to 7.5. So I'm lowering it by 2.
Oh wow. It was at 9.5.
And it easily hit in season 46. That's the crazy part.
That is the crazy part.
Why are you going under, Russell?
They tried something new, the new era, the monster, everything in 41, 42. Some things worked, some things didn't. I think this backstory was a cool idea. I think we'll always see a couple when it really, really needs to happen. But I think Jeff realized is you don't want to force these things too much. And he's really starting to learn a little bit more each season about it. And I think 47 showed that.
How many do we have in season 47 for reference?
I don't know the exact amount. I think it was literally like 2 or 3, because I was tracking and then like literally they weren't happening. So I was like, okay, this is fine. I think it was literally 2 or 3.
Yeah, it was nothing.
Okay. Should we lower the number then?
Well, he did. We lowered it from 9.5 to 7.5.
46 was so much though. Like I think
46 literally was like 12.
Okay. I was trying to play for a lower number because I do want to go over. I think it's heavily dependent on your cast and their individual backstories. And to me, this cast seems to come from a lot of tragedy and heartbreak, and people are playing for reasons outside of themselves. It feels like a lot of the time, like, oh, I watch Survivor with my mom every week, or like I just had this family tragedy happen to me. And because there's so many of those stories, those tend to get like, those are juicy flashback options. So I'm going to go over just because that's the vibe of the cast. But I could see them like waning it off this and being like, we're only going to do 2 or 3 a season and only pick the special ones. But it just feels like there's some here that would be tough not to tell.
You ready? Charity, 100% getting one because she lost 100 pounds. Chrissy will get one because they love the idea. As long as she makes it more than one episode, they love the idea of the woman in the man's job, woman living in the man's world. They'll probably show her younger. Eva
getting one for sure.
There's no way Eva doesn't get one. I think Justin is going to get one with his like pizza. I went to Yale. I went to Yale. Now I do this. Mitch, 1,000%.
100% for Mitch.
Yeah.
Joe too.
Joe has a good chance. Star is absolutely getting one, being that she's from Liberia. And then I think Shaheen is also going to get one. I see like 9 that are very, very likely. I'm taking the over.
Yeah, I'm with you.
If this cast doesn't hit the over, they're that's saying they're done with backstories.
Yeah, I think it's okay for now to view 47 as an outlier, and that maybe their cast just didn't have crazy backstories.
Yeah,
and it's not like they got rid of them. It's not like it went from like 12 to 0. They still did a few. Didn't John Lovett have one with like him and Obama?
I think John Lovett.
What's the definition of it? Like you need to have like pictures in the background showing.
Yeah.
Off-island footage or photos.
Cool.
Well, you're narrating what you did.
Yeah. I think anytime you see something that's from before their time on the show, that counts.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Okay. We got 2 left. I lowered this number by 3 because damn it, this over is going to hit eventually. Over under 12.5 butts off seats at Tribal before Jeff says it's time to vote. The under hit last season, but there were 9 last season. So I'm still keeping this number a little high because that was really all at 1 tribal council, I think. So if we get 2 tribal councils, this is going to hit. So I have 12.5. I'm taking the over. I am praying it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
So the number is what now?
12.5.
12.5. I thought you said 3 for some reason.
We lowered it by 3. It was 15.5.
Okay.
I'm really into live tribals in the new era when we actually get subtitles. It makes it fun. And I found tribals in the new era to be kind of plain overall. That's really what I say in a lot of my recap episodes. and this could spice it up a little bit. I'm going to go the over on this one.
Okay.
I'll go under. I want to be on the island.
There you go. Get your island late.
Because I think even if you essentially need 2 live tribals, and getting one is, I think you get 1 a season on average. And even if you get 2, you would need like almost everyone, especially because they don't happen pre-merge. Like very rarely. It's a post-merge thing. And because we split into groups in the new era, that makes it less likely also. So you would need I think you just need a very specific set of 2 live tribals where like the whole group gets up to really go over that number. So I'm going under.
All right, last one. Maybe we move this number up. Over under past players mentioned. I have it at 5.5. The over has hit both of the last 2 seasons. I don't know the exact numbers because once they hit, I stopped counting. But last season, we had multiple players mentioned at Final Tribal. Andy was talking to Rachel about, Ben
and Driebergen and Mike Holloway.
Mike Holloway, that was the other one. I knew it was Ben. I couldn't remember Mike. So it's like, should we move this number up, or is 5.5 good enough?
It's such a rant. Like who knows? Maybe we move it up to 6.5. Just
because the under, just because it's hit.
Yeah. But if we don't know how much it's being hit by, then we can't reliably set a new line. We don't have anything to go off of.
Yeah. Okay.
So hear me out. I know we have Survivor 49 next, but they're going to want to build up the marketing and start hyping everyone up for Survivor 50. But I think whenever a player is mentioned that's even on Survivor's radar a little bit, they're going to want to put it on screen, remind all the fans about that player every single chance they get. I'm going to go the over on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I want to take the over on this one too. I think that this is one that is becoming more and more popular. Survivor's getting more meta, and they're okay with it being more meta. Definitely. And so as one of the tiebreakers, because we always have 3 tiebreakers, I'm going to make it how many past players will be mentioned so that we actually keep track of it this season, so that when we go to do this for 49, we know. Because I do feel like this is it's blowing this number out of the water.
And then we're gonna have to replace it for season 50.
Yeah, I mean, obviously.
Because anytime you mention anybody, they're
it's all 20.
Well, didn't when we first started doing this over under game, what is this, the 3rd season we've done it?
3rd season, yeah.
Didn't we say if we all agree, then that means we need to move the line? Because I want to take over also. And if we have it at 6.5, I think that because we need to basically raise it until one of us decides.
What number would you not take it then? I mean, okay, 7.5. Would everybody still take the over?
I'd go under on 7.5.
Okay, then we'll go to 7.5. I'm still taking the over.
I'm taking the over too.
Gotcha, guys. Got that. Got
Good
that.
one. Will.
Wait. I hope it's 6 so badly. Sorry, 7. I hope it's 7. So that was worth it.
So that was worth it. I was going to say if it's 6.
That's crazy. If 7 people get name dropped, it still doesn't go over.
And it was such an easy over last season, though. I think we hit 6 in like the first 4 episodes. So, all right. So those are our games. And then tiebreakers. So then there's going to be 3 tiebreaker questions that are also in this. The first one is how many confessionals will the winner of the season have? How many hidden immunity idols will be found? And then how many past players will be mentioned? Because we're not going to have a tie in this game. So those are going to be the 3 things. And the winner will get that puzzle, the tree puzzle from RussellMuscleTV, shipped to them. So you know what you're playing for. There you go. Make sure you get these in before the premiere. Intern locks it before the premiere. The link will be up there sometime tonight or early tomorrow. Intern is going to send me this link. He's going to do it for us, and then I'll be able to put it in the description here. So thank you, Robert, for doing that. Appreciate it. That's awesome. Everybody else, you heard us discuss it. Now go make your own picks. Russell, what else you want to say before we let you go?
I want to win. I'm going all in on this. I'm going to make sure I'm going to be coming back at the end of the season, Phil, and just bragging about how the sunburnt man was taken down the whole way through.
Dude, I couldn't think straight. I was hurting. I was in pain.
Yeah,
in agonizing pain.
I don't know. I got Survivor content coming. My recap episodes come out every Thursday when the season airs. I got someone joining my team this year, which is going to be really awesome, helping with thumbnails and like editing scripts. So I'm going to try and come out with one extra video every week as well. So big things. Come check it out.
Nice. Love that. So extra content coming from Russell Muscle TV. That's good. That's always fun. Will and I will be back with the traders tomorrow night around 10 o'clock Eastern time. So make sure you tune into that. We'll be back next Wednesday with Peridium at 6 p.m. doing our next fantasy game, which will be the prop bet game. And yeah, if you haven't checked out the Deal or No Deal Island recap with Philip Solomon, check that one out. We put that out for episode number 5. And if you're into Australian Survivor, McKenna and I did Australian Survivor Brains vs. Brawn 2 cast assessment because we are covering Australian Survivor on the channel and on the Patreon. So get ready for that. And yeah, if you want to be a patron, patreon.com/specialist. We have so many podcasts going on, so much going on over there. Every season matters. We're talking about China right now. So if you want to be a $20 patron, this truly is the time to become a $20 patron, because not only do you get the Australian Survivor coverage, the past seasons, the new season is going to be on the regular YouTube, but the past seasons, you also get Survivor Rock Draw, casting episodes. There's movie episodes in there. We're talking about China, and you can participate in these in our power rankings game and in our fantasy game, which will be live once the season begins. So if you want to be a $20 patron, this is the best time of year to join. That's it. Thank you all so much for listening. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hopefully we get a Heather 55-minute tell-all from Russell Muscle
50 minute. We said 50 only.
Amazing.
50 for 50. That's it. All right. Bye, everybody.
See ya.
Peace out.